In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs. Week by week. Book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
Welcome to Nerd Church Radio, episode 25. I'm your host, Bradley Butin, and who do I got with me, guys?
Ben Dupé,
Noah O'Toole,
and Josh Aldini,
a.k.a. Faceford.
That's right.
How you guys doing this week?
pretty good.
Good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, and just a question I'm just going to throw this out there for all you guys, see who catches it. What kind of podcast are we, besides being really good?
We're handsome.
We are a handsome podcast, all with beards.
Yeah.
A bearded podcast.
That's right. We are a bearded podcast.
We're the Stephanie Brown podcast.
There you go.
I like
We
it.
are
I
the
like
Stephanie
it. I like
Bryan.
it.
I understand that joke.
Yep, now we get it.
It just takes a little bit of time, right?
Yep, for listeners. No,
yes.
she's also known as Spoiler.
We
Are we
are
following the
Spoiler
dots?
podcast.
Spoiler. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about our rating system. We're going to throw that in there. I'm going to throw some papers on the ground.
Yeah.
Quit throwing stuff,
yeah.
Brad.
So we are, in addition to being a spoiler podcast, we're also a rate and review podcast, a DC Comics podcast, where we like to talk about DC comic books, and we don't just rate them like 1 to 10 stars like a normal person. We actually have a rating system that kind of goes along with the church theme, so I'm going to play that rating system for you so you know what we're talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right, thank you for that, Gideon. I am going to start things off. First of all, how's everyone doing this week?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Doing
Noah,
good.
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. This is my favorite week in comics. Second week of the month has chock full of my favorite books, so it's always a good week the second week of the month.
There's a lot of books, man.
Yeah.
It's like kind of browbeaten after reading, especially with that oversized Batman Detective Comics. I did not know when I started writing my recap for that it was an oversized book.
Right.
So I got like 5 or 6 sentences in, and I was like, holy crap, man, there's like still like 50 pages, or like, you know, it was actually a 50-some page book.
Right.
You know? So it was like, holy crap. So yeah, good week for comics. Josh, how you doing? You
good.
tired of snow yet?
Oh yeah. And it's like beautiful out today.
Today,
it all
yeah.
melted.
No,
so
none
it's
of us
like,
are wearing
Don't even
jackets.
need a coat, right?
Yeah.
Had to work opposite shift overnights for the last 2 nights for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, you know, I guess I made a couple people's work mornings all right by clearing out them parking lots.
You bet.
but
Yeah.
That's about it.
He's the closest thing to a superhero
I'm the
in our
unsung
group.
hero.
Right?
Brad and I had kind of a weird, you know, or special occasion today. I guess we're no longer working together.
I know.
I was going to say, how was your last day?
Kind of sad. No, it was a little sad, man. You
A
know,
little bittersweet.
it was actually. You know,
That's how I felt.
I always envision like me walking out of Wells Fargo, like screw this place, flip a chair over or whatever.
Yeah.
But to be honest, you know, like I won't miss the job at all. Like I hated the work that I did. But that's really just half of it. You know, I will miss the people a lot. You know, I mean, I met you there, Brad, and like we're, you know, best friends.
Yeah.
I met Josh there, and
met me there, man.
we're very, very good friends. you know, I met some of my best friends there, and even the people that aren't my best friends. I mean, my boss she was an alright lady. She was pretty cool, and like most of my coworkers pretty cool. So yeah, man, it was kind of sad to walk out of there. My wife's rolling her eyes because she always hears me complaining about people on the bad days. Yeah, no, and yeah, that's part of work. You complain about people on the bad days or whatever, but
it happens, man.
Yeah. No, it is. So I left respectfully with a hearty handshake and a smile and some kind words, which is
that's the way to do it.
good.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way a grown-up leaves their job. So
And there's too much hate out in the world today, man. So it's
Exactly.
like you can't fall into it
I don't
yourself,
want to perpetuate all that
Yeah.
madness. Brad, how's the daughters doing?
Good. My 4-year-old, if she doesn't like something, she has a new thing that she says, and I let's see if I can say it right. She goes, "You're a poopy pee poopy butt."
Wow,
Oh, wow.
Poopy
That's
pee poopy butt. Patent pending.
Yeah, pending. You got some alliteration going on there, huh?
I know, right? And it's like hilarious because she'll just get mad and she's like, "Poopy pee poopy butt."
Yeah, that's funny.
little kid frustration.
She's cute,
Right.
though, man.
Awesome.
Leia's adorable.
Right.
How about Kendall? How's the little? How's her and her
She's not really
boyfriends?
little, 14. She's going to her boyfriend's birthday party tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is that like a kegger? Is that like parents are out of town, going
No,
crazy Animal
no.
House type thing, or is that like a
I hope not at 14.
right?
Goodness.
Kids these days, man, they're growing up so fast. You just
These days are days. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I
I know
know,
that's why it makes this so hard. It's
yeah, it's tough.
No, she's got a pretty good head on her shoulder. He seems like a pretty decent dude so far, so I can't complain too much.
Hopefully he's working on that handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one bad sign. Is that's
I know,
that's
right?
handshake. You gotta teach him, man. Take him under your wing.
I haven't actually had a great chance to just talk to the dude one-on-one.
Yeah.
He's either with my daughter and my wife, or whatever. And I'm
Well, yeah,
always
she
like,
probably knows better than to leave him alone with you.
Yeah,
better.
Yeah, right, yeah. Don't want a bad
Right,
impression.
She's like,
Yeah.
if he's
Yeah.
over, better not let him out of my sight.
You're right. I mean, no, but he seems like a really good kid. So
yeah.
That's good.
And his report card week too. That was kind of nice. Kid got
Good-
all
good
A's,
news- good news?
All A's and B's.
Killer, man.
She's way smarter than
Nice.
I am.
She's doing
Nice.
better than I was at that age.
Oh man, me too.
No, are you good in school at that age?
I was good in school at every age. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
my
really?
parents were strict, and so I studied
Oh,
and
okay.
did good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Cool.
kind of
Cool. I
yeah.
kind of guessed that.
Mousy.
But yeah.
I did pretty good until I got senioritis a little early on a few classes, but
like sophomore year,
it was like sophomore, junior year,
Right.
Like what was it? No, it was like physics or something. Signed up
Yeah.
for that class, and first week I was like, this was a mistake. This is such a mistake. And then just there were some hard classes that I didn't
Yeah.
do so hot
Yeah.
in, but you know, I did all right.
I got about 7 months left of school, and I'll have my bachelor's. And I tell you what, like I'm procrastinating
excited.
all my homework. I'm like, crap, I can do this all Sunday.
yeah.
Got 7 months left, man.
I know. I was doing some stuff this morning, and I had to look up my grades and my start date and everything, and I'm like, wow, I have been there for 3.5 years.
Oh,
Crap.
man.
Wow. Time flies, man. It really
Oh.
does. It goes crazy. Like I can't believe I've been in school for almost that long.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of books to cover this week. So I'm going to kick things off here with Superman Action Comics number 973. Who read this one?
Me.
No,
I read through it. Yep.
We all read this one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Or at least kind of page
right.
through it
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever. So story on this one's by Dan Jurgens, art by Patch Zurcher, Steven Segovia, and Art Thibert. So Steel's broken into the Fortress of Solitude with a dying Lana Lane and needs Superman's help. Meanwhile, the let himself go a little Clark Kent decides to try and protect Lois Lane while she's working undercover. And afterwards, Lois decides to trail Clark and figure out what this dude's deal is. She's like, this guy's off. It doesn't seem right. And this Clark thinks that she's the Lois that has died because she's impersonating that Lois. So it's all sorts of confusing. So she trails him. She doesn't find much out, but she does end up agreeing to go on a date with him, apparently. So, after she's done trailing him, she really doesn't find much out, and he comes back to the Daily Planet office while she's working with a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolates under his arm. He's like, hey, will you go on a date with me? And she kind of has to accept. She decides
Super creepy, like.
this guy's like the story of the year. I'm gonna go out with this guy, and he's gonna I'm gonna write a story about him because no one knows what this dude's deal is. So yeah, super creepy though, man. He gave me the creeps hardcore. So
Heebie-jeebies.
yeah. So while this is happening, the real Soups and Steel go off to find a cure for Lana Lang, and they're totally being tracked by some dude named Dr. Henshaw. And I'm going to defer to my history expert here. Noah, do you know who Dr. Henshaw is?
It doesn't ring a bell unless he's related to Hank Henshaw, who is Steel.
Okay. Oh, that's Steel.
Okay.
What really? Like Steel, like
the Superman Steel.
Okay, the one that showed up like at the beginning of this issue
So-
with Lana Lang.
Is that a callback on the Supergirl TV show with the Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, because he's Hank Henshaw, but he's
Yeah.
he's not really Hank Henshaw.
Not really Hank Henshaw, though, right?
Yeah.
But he's
Okay.
also Cyborg
Superman,
in it
which
too,
is
so
right, yeah.
Nice. Okay. I learned
Okay,
something. Yeah.
cool. Well, yeah, that's sort of a connection. I mean, just worlds and worlds more confusing territory
Exactly.
here with this title, which is kind of like, that's just what we're doing. So, I don't really like Let Himself Go, Little Clark. Glad we're getting some more answers on him so we can eventually get rid of him, because I feel like that's going to be the eventual outcome here, is we're going to find out what his deal is and he's going to die or disappear into the Speed Force or just go away and, buy some more Cheetos or whatever.
Did you catch the sweet irony with that in this issue, by the way?
No. Oh, yeah.
When he was
eating food, he stopped to get food. And
a
he
little
bought,
kid diet?
Yeah,
It was
he orders like 2 milkshakes and like 3 hamburgers. And Lois is like, he's on the little kid dream diet or
Dream
something.
diet. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
eating all sweets and sugars and stuff. And I was like, oh man, the Let Himself Go Clark is
He's letting
it's
himself
starting to fit.
He's
It's
letting
starting to
himself
fit.
go a little bit further. God, man, this
That's
guy's out of
awesome.
control. So it's cool to see Lana and Steel show up, though. I dug that. I really like Lana Lang. She's pretty badass. So a little hard to follow at times. Just the story is kind of narrative's a little choppy for me. I
gotta
don't
agree
know,
with you there.
did anyone else feel that way?
Yep.
Yeah. Josh, Brad?
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
Cool. Art, decent, good artwork. Not great artwork. It's just okay. Overall, I'd say it's a good book, and I would give it my blessing.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
That was pretty good.
Yep. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyone else? Whoops, man, everyone's dropping shit.
Throwing
Stuff
also.
around.
Dropping the mic.
Yeah, so
Threw it on the ground.
we are gonna move things along here to Hal
We're
Jordan.
moving things along.
Interrupting Ben.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Thumbs up, knuckle bump. Boom.
Oops.
I didn't do it.
Hit
Knocking the
mics.
mic down.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
all
So
sorts
We're
of
gonna
awesome
and,
tonight.
and in the after show we're gonna start 80s band.
yep,
Oh,
we are.
yes.
We
Mullet
started
wigs.
an '80s band on
Hair
like
metal.
episode 9, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There was
Yeah,
that
I
one
think
that
you did.
we annoyed the crap out of Travis that episode with like because I kept cutting it
Oh,
with like
Travis.
we're coming to save the day. All right, so Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 14? 14.
Yeah, 14. Quest for Hope Part 1. Light in the Darkness. Written by Robert Venditti.
Vendetti.
And yeah, I can't. Sorry, Brad No Talk Good today.
Brad, no talk. No, just the way he said it was awesome. It sounded like a hip hop name or something.
That's right. You got it.
Yeah,
That's right.
dropping the mic. Vendetti.
Art by Rafa Sandoval. So we start the search. Wow, I can't read.
Brad,
my
don't talk good today.
I see. I warned everybody.
It's already there.
So we start the search for hope with Hal and John talking about the future of the Green Lantern Corps. Hal and Kyle end up going on a secret mission for Ganthet to find the Blue Lantern. John ends up uniting the Green and the Yellow Corps and giving each Green a partner that is a Yellow Lantern for each sector. Hal and Kyle, the White Lantern, faces a gigantic alien monster on a planet that is about to be like Alderaan. Kyle finds
Exploded.
Yeah, this man is getting
or
exploded.
Tatooine,
Blown up.
Getting
Lot,
nuked.
or-
lots of explosions.
right?
happening.
Or if you're Ben, that's Tatooine.
Whatever. Yeah, man, I'm not. Oh god.
So
Yeah, we were instant messaging this week at work, and what were you even talking?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I was like, "What's
Something.
the planet that blew up?" And I said Tatooine. Yeah,
Yeah.
The sad thing is, I actually looked that up and saw Alderaan, and I still typed Tatooine like 2
Right.
seconds later. It was just discombobulated at work, man.
Right, so we end on a cool splash page with Kyle finds Saint Walker, who is the Blue Lantern, and the next issue is entitled "Hope Extinguished."
That Blue Lantern looks pretty sweet to me.
Yeah, he was in Blackest Night.
Yep, St. Walker. He's
awesome.
He is really cool. Yeah.
Has there ever been like a Blue Lantern story at all? Or
They've had their own arcs throughout the Green Lantern books, but they've never had their own book or anything like that. But yeah, they are often seen with the the Green Lanterns because since their blue power is offensive, it charges up the Green Lanterns. So it's always nice to have a Blue Lantern around.
Nice.
Exactly.
The Green Lantern animated show had kind of a good origin story for the Blue Lanterns.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, good job. Anyway,
Thanks.
Gold star, Josh.
Way to contribute.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
The more you know. So anyway, I love the layout of this book. I really enjoy the story and the art.
The art is amazing, man.
Fantastic.
It just never stops with the Green Lanterns and awesome artwork.
And think about Green Lantern. You can be out there because they're out there. You
You can go crazy with it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry. You rate it, then I got something to say.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, I also think that this is a good book to get started on if you're not really reading it right now. But I highly suggest everyone to go get the book now. It was awesome.
Nice.
I can't really find anything I didn't like about the book, and I rated it as holy.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm with you, man. I didn't read it, but just hearing what you said about the story, knowing what I know about this story arc, it's been fantastic from the start. I mean, this has been a great Green Lantern story. I wouldn't say it's Blackest Night level great by any means, but I do think that it's a great story. So yeah, I'd go with Holy as well, just based on knowing what I know about the artwork.
Yeah, there's some really cool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
This double splash page with the fan kind of towards the end, man, that's gorgeous. Just beautiful.
Yeah, and the banter between Hal and John was awesome at the beginning, and then Hal was like, "Hey, I always got your back," and then the very next sentence is John's like, "Hey, I need your help here." And he's like, "Sorry, I gotta go."
Who's this guy with the checkers? By the way, do we know who he is? The guy with the checkered shoulder pads and a checkered headband?
He's the cabbie.
Oh, okay.
He's the cabbie that Guy Gardner. So Guy Gardner is getting information out of him. He just has a lot of information. The cabbie has a lot of information, obviously.
Sure.
And so they bring him to where the Green Lantern Corps is, and so they're going to track down all the Yellow Lanterns that are out there, and then give them a choice whether to join the Green Yellow Corps or
die,
right,
or fight,
or face the consequence.
Cool.
But yeah, it was awesome. I think it was a really good idea bringing the green and the yellow together, or at least part of the yellow.
Well, it's giving them a redemption story.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like redeeming them.
Cool.
And then on the other end, you got Scarecrow, who's going to be putting a lot of fear out there too.
Yeah, man, and it's in the Green Lantern story arc, right?
Yeah.
Is where they're teaming up with Batman? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yep.
So
cool.
But
I'm wondering if they're just going to bring the Green Yellow Corps in and just womp on Scarecrow. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna. It seems so zany to me to bring all those elements into a story into one. But
that's what. Yeah, and I mean it's probably unrealistic because they're why would we all go there?
But then I would have never dreamed of seeing the Scarecrow and Yellow Lantern become one in just a single story arc. I mean, I would expect it in Blackest Night.
Yeah, he got the Scarecrow was the
right.
Yeah. Which that's kind of an out there event or whatever for something to be happening in.
It tried to get Batman, but he was able to resist the
fear.
ring and pulled it off and was get away from me, and then it went and found Scarecrow.
Cool. So. Right. I mean, I think that all the Yellow Lanterns that are working with the Green Lanterns are going to become Green Lanterns. I mean, because you have to overcome fear to become,
They are good,
will, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Saronic especially, she's a good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Kind of a protagonist here or whatever. So.
She's Sinestro's daughter.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
What if she's the only one that remains yellow because, she said, she wants to basically undo all the evil he did, right? Isn't that kind of her goal is to use fear for good, basically, and kind of redeem?
Which I mean,
what if she lets all the rest of them go green, but she just stays yellow and she's a solo Yellow Lantern?
Hey man, fear can be a good thing. I mean, a healthy amount of fear that's a saying, So fear can be turned into something good. Now, I think it's a far stretch to say the entire Yellow Lantern Corps is going to become a protagonist or anything, but like I can see him wanting to go in that direction here. So, elephant in the room, I screwed something up last week.
You did?
I did.
Josh, what is that, guys?
What happened?
What happened? I don't.
I was going to say Ben pulled a real Barry Allen.
I did. Yes. Good work. All right. So, yes, I have a workflow when I work, and it wasn't very smart. But what I like to do is it takes about like 45 seconds to set up a GarageBand file. And I don't want to wait 45 seconds and go through all that work. So I just open the previous episode that I recorded, delete all the audio, and save as a new file. So when we recorded our Wonder Woman episode, I opened our last week's episode, deleted all the audio, recorded all our stuff, and as I was hitting Control S to save, like my finger hit the S, and I was like, "Crap, I didn't." And after you hit save, you can't undo.
Right.
So I just it was gone forever. That's going to be the lost episode, the one that got away.
Right.
It's nowhere to be found. So I was going to record like a recap episode. And I might still add something like that onto the beginning of this episode, just a short thing where I read all you guys' reviews so people at least know what we gave the comics. But yeah, I do apologize to you guys and to the listeners about that, because that was a week's work that I just kind of lost.
So please email and tell Ben that I don't know something.
Mistakes happen. It's going to happen.
Gotta give crap.
We can't hate on you for it, man. It's okay. We forgive you, bro.
I did feel terrible. No, I actually watched it happen.
Yeah.
And he can vouch. I was just like, oh God,
man.
like just terrible.
Yeah.
That's probably one of those moments where it was just quiet for a second, and then maybe some chuckling, and then not any chuckling at all.
I was upset, man. I had to record a podcast. We recorded Indie Tuesdays like right after that, right? And I had to be the host of that show and somehow act like I was in a good mood. And I was just,
and you were all shook.
I was raging angry at myself, man. I was so upset. So
don't do that to yourself, man.
Yeah,
accidents happen.
No, I know. I just like at the moment you're like, oh shit, did I really? Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we are going to move things along here to Flash number 16.
All right. Oh, I'm with you.
Nice, good call, Flash Gordon.
And of course, my notes went away. Un momento, por favor.
All
right, so Flash number 16, Rogues Reloaded, Part 3, by Joshua Williamson, Carmine Di Giandomenico, Ivan Placencia, and Steve Wands.
They gave you all the fun names to pronounce today, huh?
They sure did. So the Flash is racing all over Central City trying to find the Rogues. They tricked him into going to Corto Maltese, where Mirror Master kept him busy. Meanwhile, the Rogues split up and robbed 5 different locations. Barry, dumbfounded and fooled, got a clue from Iris to set him on the right track. He was too busy trying to find the Rogues that he didn't even stop to check what the Rogues actually took.
Wow, sounds like a real Barry Allen.
Way to go, Barry.
Classic,
slow down,
classic
dude.
Barry.
Slow down. So after putting the pieces together, Flash finds Heatwave and basically gets burnt, and all looks lost. So later, the Rogues meet up on a yacht named Polar Ice. Convenient. Don't know if you guys caught that.
Little.
Startled by the plan actually working, Captain Cold was surprised to find the other Rogues all there. Heatwave tells Cold that they don't have to worry about the Flash because he took care of him. Cold snaps on Heatwave because he didn't stick to the plan. Whoever ran into the Flash was supposed to go to jail. That was the deal. That was the plan. Entered the Flash to defeat all the Rogues in a super fast second. Well, except for Cold. Cold turns and freezes the Flash in place, then explains what he stole from Star Labs. It was some parts. It was basically some parts to something or another, and with them he created the Black Ice Gun. And we'll see what that does next time in Flash versus Captain Cold.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that it makes some sort of black ice,
like super cold.
Yeah,
ice.
Yeah, they can't see invisible ice like black ice. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I like it. It's just yet another extension to Captain Cold's powerful wheelhouse of wielding guns that shoot cold junk at people. Yeah. That's literally all he can do. Sorry.
Yeah, just make guns and freeze people.
I'm on a hate train for all the Flash and his
Yeah, you are.
characters. Yeah,
Except for Wally.
except for Wally. Which Wally are we talking here?
Black
Titans
Wally or Redhead Wally?
Redhead Wally.
Original Wally,
He's my jam. Yeah, that's
Titans Wally.
That's my favorite speedster. So.
All right. So anyway, it's a great read. Art was awesome. The dialogue throughout in Barry's mind, putting all together, and as I thought it was all pretty well thought out. Heat Wave's twistedness and Cold's brilliant planning, and Flash being fooled the entire time until like the last few moments of the book, I thought was pretty awesome. I really liked it. I can't wait to see what Cold does with his new toy, because I'm kind of curious as to what it is too. But yeah, overall I gave it holy. I thought it was a good read.
Yeah.
And like, just to add to like Heatwave's backstory, man, he is messed up, dude. Like
Totally.
And from Legends, like you kind of get an idea of what Heatwave is, but like now in the comics, like he is like a sick, twisted dude.
Right.
Yeah.
There's even like a point when Barry found him, like he basically went to Heatwave's home, because that was like when he first became obsessed with fires, when like his home got engulfed in flames and like his family burned alive and stuff. And so Barry's like traveling all over town when he was trying to find the rogues. Well, he basically figured out that when they stole all the stuff from the 5 different locations, this was like their last like robbery they were doing, and they were basically going to flee, disappear, just get away with like all kinds of crap. And so he basically went to like what's his name's Rory. They went to Rory's like family's grave. Didn't see him there. Well, then he went to the home. But then, like, Rory reminded Flash that he wasn't, like, visiting, like, his family's grave before he left. He was, like, visiting, like, his first, like, murder scene or first, like, arson scene. Like, it just really showed, like, the twistedness of the dude. Like, he wanted to say goodbye to, like, the first time that it happened. The first time he, like, fell in love with the fire basically. Yeah. Instead of, like, you know, going to visit, like, his family. I thought that was just, like, that was just disgusting and twisted.
And was that kind of the point where he's, like crippled in like a fetal position in the book, or is that
the Flash?
Yeah,
that's like Rory like burns him right
okay.
after all of that.
Okay, cool. All right, just trying to piece it together here, because this is another one that I didn't buy the paper copy of it, and
I kind of skipped a lot of the details, but yeah, that was just to kind of describe like some of the
artwork. What did you think of the artwork?
I thought the artwork's awesome. Like, I love the way the Flash is like drawn, like the lightning coming off him and stuff. Like,
yeah.
And one thing like I thought about, because I think it was I only saw it caught really cool in like Young Justice when Impulse is there and Barry gets talking, and they get talking like super fast. You know what I mean? It's like thinking about it, like with Flash's like abilities, it's like it would be hard to like see him as like a solid figure. You would think like if he was hanging out in the room, he would always be like blurry, because he'd always be going like super fast. You know what I mean? It's like it would probably take an extreme amount of concentration to like slow down to like normal pace. And that's one thing I've really started to like about the Flash in like the comics versus like the show, is like they really capture that. Like Barry's just always just moving, you know what I mean? Just always going like super fast. It would be hard to live like a normal life. You just have to be Flash 24/7.
But if you're a superhero, you're not in a normal life, though,
right?
You know.
But it's like,
well, but you want to have aspects of a normal life.
But if he was walking around the streets, you'd think he'd be blurry, or like lightning would be coming off him. You know what I mean? Like even in street clothes.
Well, right, and you would have to try to not move that fast too. I mean, like,
because your clothes would catch on fire.
Well, right. Well, not only that, but I mean, I think
friction burn.
I think it would be harder to slow down than, because your body just wants to go. So walking with Iris or whatever, you're like, yeah, okay.
Well, and like the way they like capture it, like sometimes like Quicksilver, the way they captured him, how he can almost like freeze time, but he moves at like normal pace and everything's like frozen.
Right.
Like if it's like that, I mean, that would be difficult to control.
Yeah.
Like super difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I don't know. I don't even know what it would like to be the Flash, because I mean, as you guys can probably tell, I'm the type of person, I'm a little bit impatient, and I tend to rush around, and I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I can't imagine what it would be to like have the ability to actually speed up things, and then have to go back to living a normal life and let things play out at a normal rate. Like that would be so frustrating. I don't know. I can't even imagine. Dude, the art. Is it a big art change on this book? Because it feels like it's gotten a lot better on this issue than it like. The expressions used to really bother me on this, but in this one they don't at all. Like, I really like them. So Do you know if they changed artists or anything?
That I don't. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, the names look the same.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
kind
the
of
names
thought
look
they were
familiar,
the same, but I can't say that for sure. I like them. I agree with you wholly. I think this whole run with the Rogues has been
awesome.
great. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. I've never hated the art, just it seemed a little different to me this time, but I don't know, maybe just different issue or something. All right, we are going to move things along here to Wonder Woman. I'm excited to hear about this, actually.
For sure. All right. We got Wonder Woman number 16 by story by Greg Rucka and art by Bilquis Evely. This is called Godwatch Part 1. This story takes place 6 months since Wonder Woman left Themyscira. Shortly thereafter, Ares attacked, looking for the location of the Amazons and their hidden island. But Diana truly doesn't know and was able to vanquish Ares. So we've also seen Veronica Cale and Adriana Anderson, a.k.a. Dr. Cyber, as their evil, jaded, Wonder Woman-hating selves in the present time. But in this issue, we see what drove them to that villainy. Empire Industries is working on a project called Cyberwalker, where a human can take control of a cyborg in real life. Think like Avatar. It's far from ready when Veronica Cale is visited by two odd-looking twins who introduce themselves as Phobos and Deimos.
Yeah.
They know about Cyberwalker, and they think it can be used to find the location of Themyscira trapped in Diana's mind. And, to ensure Dr. Cale helped them, they kidnapped her daughter's soul and imprisoned it in the pits of Tartarus.
That sounds scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tartarus, what are you
Tartarus is Greek hell, Greek hell.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Adriana won't let Veronica use Cyberwalker because it's dangerous, and so she volunteers herself. Phobos and Deimos spark a battle with Wonder Woman, but Cyberwalker is destroyed in the process, trapping Adriana in the machine. Veronica pounds furiously on the glass to pull her friend from the burning wreckage. She cradles her lifeless body and vows, "You will all burn."
Nice.
So, like last issue, this one focuses on Wonder Woman's supporting cast more than her. She's really only in the issue at the beginning and the end. The whole middle part is kind of the backstory we get on Veronica Cale and Adriana Anderson. And then, we meet Phobos and Deimos, which is interesting for anybody that doesn't know. Well, first, if you are fans of astronomy, you might know Phobos and Deimos. They're the two moons of Mars. And they're named after, because Mars is the Roman god of war and Ares is the Greek god of war. And Phobos and Deimos are really Ares' children in Greek mythology.
Can I say it? Can I say what they're also known as?
Yeah.
Phobos and Deimos is also known as Fear and Panic. Ooh. Which, if you've read the previous Wonder Woman stories from like Liam Sharp's point, you'll recall Veronica Cale has two dogs with red glowing eyes that are also named Fear and Panic. So this is the year one story where we've got Phobos and Deimos.
Yep.
And then we've got, in the current story, two dogs named Fear and Panic. I'm thinking at some point Veronica Cale is going to like get back at these dudes and trap them in like dogs' bodies or something.
I completely actually agree, because in last issue we had Veronica Cale, Dr. Cyber, and Colonel Poison, Colonel Maru, all talking about, trying to get Wonder Woman, and talking about calling in the witch, and she's like, no, I'm not calling in the witch. Well, that witch is Circe, the huge Wonder Woman villain from Greek mythology, who really, really has a thing for turning people into animals. So nice. I think it would make perfect sense for Circe to show up later and to kind of, because there's no way that Veronica's going to name her two dogs after the two people that kidnapped and imprisoned and tortured her daughter, So I think that's what I see happening.
What's up?
A little bit off subject, but did you guys watch the show Dirk Gently?
No,
and
I've
the
never
Holistic
seen
Detective.
It. No.
Oh my god, it was so good. But that was a major plot point of the whole show, is that there's this machine that would transfer your soul into a different being. So like a cat or a dog or whatever. And if you get a chance, watch it. It's freaking fantastic. Cool. So, but Elijah Wood's in it, and then some other people are in it. I can't think of, but it's really well done.
Nice.
But anyway,
same kind of principles here too, and I'm excited to see how that plays out in the current storyline. Or I guess if they do get transformed into dogs or put into a dog's body or whatever, like, why are they going to do what Veronica Cale says? Is Veronica Cale just as badass as Amanda Waller? I mean, can she really get that much on these two that they'll, pretty much obey her commands and stuff?
I don't think they probably have much choice. I bet with the magic of Circe, they're kind of compelled to do as dogs do, and what are they going to do? They're gods trapped in dogs' bodies. They can't just if that's what happens. We of course don't know, or just seems to make a lot of sense to have that happen.
If these two escape, you can imagine like how. Man, that's not going to look good for Veronica Cale.
Yeah, no, I think something's gonna happen, and they're going to introduce Circe into it either in the current timeline, and then we'll get a backstory on it or something. We'll see. But what kind of got me excited was the hints for next week, because first next month, which will be the continuation of this story, the origin story, we got Godwatch Part 2, and it says the 3 Doctors. And that got me super excited because, one, we have Dr. Veronica Cale, so we know she's one of them. And 2, we have Adriana Anderson, who's Dr. Cybers, so we know we have her.
Okay.
And at first you think Dr. Poison, but they don't call her that now. She's Colonel Maru. So the only other doctor would have to be Dr. Psycho, who's like one of Wonder Woman's top 5 villains. He's like this super short, woman-hating man that has this insane mind control.
Oh,
and
cool.
He's a creepy pervert, mental rapist. I mean, he is like this big bad guy that
nice.
Wonder Woman fights a lot.
Well, not
so,
nice, but
I mean, he's a great adversary, because he's really the opposite of what she is,
I like that. Keep going.
Right. So hopefully we'll get to see Dr. Psycho, because he's really the only one that's been missing from her group of villains, that we haven't seen yet.
Okay.
And then in 2 weeks it says The Truth Part 2, an old friend leads the way back. So hopefully that old friend's Ferdinand from the Minotaur.
I know you're
and
excited
we'll see.
about it.
We'll see what happens in 2 weeks.
Not Minotaur.
Right, he's a Kithotar because he's from
Kithotar.
Kitor instead. Yeah.
I'm remembering all this. Like, I used to have such a difficult time with like keeping up with the mythology on Wonder Woman books, and like since we had that show last week. And we watched Wonder Woman, the animated movie, which fantastic DC animated film, by the way. And it doesn't come up on search engines when you search like DC animated films. Like this somehow is hidden underneath all the other awesome films. But this I would rate in my top 5 maybe DC animated films. It was a very good
I've been
animated film.
Been binge watching a few different animated films over the last couple nights. I've been finding them.
I've been there, my friend.
Yeah, dude, just going on a rage because I didn't realize there were so many like DC animated movies.
Do you have Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Okay, I was gonna say on the Xbox store, I own like all of them, and
nice.
Then I got a PlayStation. So
speaking of rating, I gave it a low holy.
Okay,
it was
cool.
it
was
low
holy.
Yeah, low. Yeah, because I mean, Wonder Woman again wasn't quite the star of it, but I still really liked it, and it contributed a lot. And we got the new artist.
I was gonna say, is this the first issue
of
of
the
new
artist?
artist? What do you think of it?
And I don't have complaints. She's
nice.
It's no Nicola Scott, who's
That's
he's replacing,
tough shoes to
which
fill.
is tough shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But it has a very classical mythology feel to it, the way they drew her hair and
I thought it looked
stuff.
good.
So
I
I thought it was good.
flipping
Yep.
through, yeah.
I honestly, man, there were a couple. I don't know if it's just me being starstruck by like Phobos and Deimos, but like I gave it a high holy, and that's just because like there were a couple parts that related to the conversation that we had after the movie,
right?
And it just got me stoked.
Really excited, it's exciting.
So like when
sure.
a book hits you at that right time, sometimes the rating will be affected by that, and for me, it definitely got a high holy. So before we get a break, I'm gonna do Batman Detective Comics. I found out last week that like I went to the optometrist and I have a stigmatism. So I ordered glasses on Monday, and until they come, I have to wear these readers. So I'm kind of like, that's why I'm taking them on and off and stuff. But I'm trying to get used to it. The readers actually really help when I'm reading. The new glasses I'm getting are going to be like multi-purpose or whatever. So anyway, Batman Detective Comics number 950, story by James Tynion. The what Roman numerals 1V? Is it
4.
The fourth? Okay, cool. James Tynion the fourth. Art by Marcio Takara. So I kind of wrote really shorthanded notes on this. Actually, can someone hand me the paper copy of this too? Because I only noted the first third of it because it was an oversized issue. So you paid $3.99 for it, and you got basically 2 comics books worth of stuff, which is a good deal for people. So the first part of this book is Cassandra Cain / Orphan, who's kind of narrating this, or we're getting like a third person narrative of this story. She's at the beginning following a dancer, and she's talking about ballet and how much she loves sort of the art of ballet and the art of dancing and what goes along with that. Then she kind of shows up when this ballet dancer is like about to do practice or whatever, and she starts dancing behind this ballerina, and the ballerina notices her, and I'm sorry, not spoiler. Orphan just bolts. She makes off for it. So then she shows up at Harper Rowe's house. Starts to try to talk to Harper Rowe, but Harper Rowe sort of pokes it and prods at what the issue is, like what are you sad about, and Orphan just bolts. She's a very closed off person, you're learning. She doesn't like to talk to people or anything. Then Mayor Hardy, we jump to Mayor Hardy on a roof with Commissioner Gordon and Batman, and Mayor Hardy's telling Batman he's been a pretty crappy mayor, to be honest, and he wants to be a good guy from now on. And out of nowhere, like, Commissioner Gordon turns around and like pulls his gun. He realizes someone's been watching them. Well, it's Orphan, and she makes off. And later, her and Batman meet up. Honestly, like, I don't really feel like it's necessary to go through all the parts of this, because it's all kind of background noise to learning about Orphan and how she had parents who were assassins that died tragically. She's a very closed off person. She doesn't like talking to her friends and stuff. And this whole like drawn out thing, it was just basically learning about how messed up she is and how mentally damaged this girl is, and sort of learning how to deal with that. She has aspects of her that are kind of like Damian Wayne. I mean, she's very deadly. She's an assassin, and everyone she looks at, she's figuring out a way, like, how could I kill this person?
Kill him,
yeah, I mean, even with Batman, when she's talking to him, it's showing like the pressure points, and she's like, she can't stop herself from seeing like, okay, I could punch his jaw and break his neck, and like, she's just messed up. So we kind of get that. Some other things that we get out of this issue, we learned that Luke Fox is kind of working on like a cure for Clayface right now, and he's figured out a bracelet that'll let Clayface morph back into Basil a little bit better, but he's still not quite there yet with figuring out a cure, and he's still like, man, basically you're stuck this way. For now, we're going to keep working on a cure. Other than that, Shiva is watching Orphan. Does anyone know who Shiva is? Noah, you know who Shiva is?
Oh, yeah, Lady Shiva.
She's
Sure,
Lady
yeah.
Shiva.
She's awesome. She's like a martial artist that could and has kicked Black Canary's butt before. And I'm kind of surprised you said, because I didn't read this. I flipped through it and saw Lady Shiva and kind of got excited because she's Cassandra Cain's mother. So I'm not sure what Cassandra Cain thought about her parents being dead. Maybe she's under, because it looked like, she said, I'm coming for you, so she probably thinks that she's dead, but no, Lady Shiva's her mom, and David Cain is her dad, and he's an assassin, and yeah, he's probably dead, because most people know her as, because pre-New 52 she was Batgirl for a long time.
Okay, yeah, she was like the Batgirl after Barbara Gordon, right?
It went Barbara Gordon, Stephanie Brown, and then Cassandra Cain.
Okay, cool. So there's 2 other parts to this book, because it was a long issue. The first part, or the second part, I guess, after the Cassandra Cain stuff, was a long dialogue between Luke Fox and Azrael, and I have to go back and read that again, and if you read it, you'll probably have to read it a couple times, because Azrael is kind of explaining to Luke Fox how his relationship with his helmet works, and the Order of Saint Dumas and all this stuff. So it's a very well written narrative on how that works. It's just not something that I fully soaked in, so I don't feel fully equipped to explain like kind of the mechanics of that relationship or whatever. But then my favorite part of the book and the last part of the book is showing Tim Drake. Yes, Tim Drake, not Dick Grayson, not Jason Todd, but Tim Drake. And he's talking to Batman. This is sometime before Tim Drake supposedly, quote, died. And Tim Drake's telling Batman, like, hey, you just formed this team with me and all the other, misfits or whatever. I'm noticing you're forming all these teams, and it's almost like you're putting all these safeguards in place like you never have before. Like he's starting the JLA, and Batman's starting like this group of misfits here. Mm-hmm. He's preparing Duke to be something that Robin has never been before. I mean, Duke's been training for a long time. It's almost like he's trying to start his own Justice League, but he's actually starting multiple Justice Leagues.
Yeah.
And the very last line of dialogue in this book is Tim Drake asking Batman, "Why are you preparing for a war?" And then Dark Days in 2017. That's all it says.
Interesting.
So a little more teaser for the larger Rebirth story, so to speak. We're getting a little bit of like, Batman's really going to be the forefront of this war against Dr. Manhattan, I believe, and
mortal against God.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
And he probably already has so much stuff figured out that like we haven't even heard about yet.
Yeah, we're it's always going to be little breadcrumbs like this until we get to the button.
Right.
And the button is going to be in March. That's going to be the very first point where the greatest detective alive and the greatest screw up in the DC universe team up. Barry Allen and Batman team up to figure out what the deal is with this button and what's going on with that. So overall, man, I was not expecting a long issue, and I got halfway through it and realized it was a long issue. I give this one... What did I rate this one? I didn't even write it. I don't know, man. Like a high blessing. It was pretty good. It's a lot of reading. It's definitely not something you want to read.
Right.
Saturday morning cereal type stuff. It's something you want to put your thinking cap on and read because like maybe get the whiteboard out and stuff. So yeah,
make a flow chart.
Yeah. Did anyone else read this one?
I did.
I read.
I went through
it, but right, it was really long, and there was a lot of other comics I was reading this week. So
there's some good information in there, man. In fact, if anyone wants to borrow the paper copy or just have it, like you guys can, I don't really care.
I thought the art was that scene of Cassandra Cain dancing behind the dancer. That was just really cool. That was really cool.
The artwork as a whole in this book was gorgeous. I thought it was just absolutely brilliant artwork. I mean, like there's tons of 2-page splashes,
right.
With just narrative on top of them. I mean, it was very painterly stuff. So yeah, high blessing, I think. What did I say before? I don't know. High blessing. High blessing. Yeah, very good book. So with that, I'm going to take us on to break, and
we'll be right back. And we're back.
Yeah, For Honor, man. I've been one to... So they're the guys here were talking about For Honor. I guess there's an open beta on it right now. I mean, I know we're not a video game podcast, but I'm very much getting into video games. And I've been one to sort of... Sorry, I just had to stop the recording and press play.
We all paused. Exactly what we were doing, just so the listeners know what goofiness goes on here.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, exactly.
Freeze frame.
Yeah. So... Yeah,
the Batwing.
For Honor, though, man, it looks like fun. I really, really want to get in on the open beta for that.
Got some amazing graphics and intense gameplay.
I don't like MOBAs, but that one looks pretty fun.
MOBA. So what's a MOBA?
MOBA is like League of Legends or
a multiplayer online battle arena.
So
several things can be considered
Overwatch is
like Overwatch.
Kind of a MOBA, but like. With MOBAs, like there's like NPCs, which are like non-player characters,
like grunts.
They're computer characters.
Grunts
they're like
or minions.
Grunts or minions. It's just guys that create
and take
like
down
clusters.
towers. That's kind of like your classic MOBA. Yeah. But
so like with this game, you'll have like all the minions like battling in the middle, and then there's like 4 heroes that will like jump in and slay a bunch of minions, or like go 1-to-1 combat and stuff. Like it's a pretty sweet looking game. I want to try it out.
Speaking of battle, I think Brad and I are about to battle it out here on his review of Titans number 8.
Yes, we will Made in Manhattan. Okay, you know it's going to be a great book when it's based, or when they're still in the title from a Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Whatever, man.
I was thinking J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Jennifer
Lawrence, right?
Okay.
Misty. Okay,
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Way to pull a Ben, Brad.
You mean way to pull a Barry Allen? I'm just gonna start calling that pulling a Josh.
Barry because you can't go back in time and fix it.
But so I'm just gonna start saying you really joshed that one up, didn't you?
You bend it up.
Yeah, bend it up. That just sounds like you bended it. That doesn't make sense.
You bended it.
You joshed it. It's like I'm just joshing like joking. Like, it's such a joke how bad that was. You joshed it up.
What's bad is that this whole conversation's still continuing, and Brad hasn't jumped in and
I
stopped
know.
us to do his review.
The listeners are like, God, Ben.
I was enjoying that. I don't know what to say.
Ben, you put the timestamp for Titans like 1 minute ago, and you still haven't started it yet.
You know what? That's made in Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Written by Dan Abbott. Art by Brett Booth. So, we start with Bumblebee and Mal getting ready to lose their meta powers. The rest of the Titans are reminiscing about some of the old days. Wally is nervous about how he's going to get closer to Linda. Mal ends up getting his butt kicked by Mammoth. The rest of the Titans show up and go toe-to-toe with the Fearful Six.
Wow, that was a brief recap of the events of
That
that.
sounds very
However,
nice.
it did,
Super fast.
it did jump around quite a bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, like there were so the Mammoth thing. Like he was hanging out at what's this business called that they're at?
Meta
Solutions?
Meta
Meta
Solutions.
Solutions,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so like he was having flashbacks to Mammoth beating the crap out of him, and then and then his girlfriend Bumblebee's in the next room getting diagnosed by these cats, and like he looks up at the front desk and Mammoth's just chilling there, like drinking a cup of coffee, talking to the receptionist, and he's like, "Whoa, something is not right here." And that's when he like bolts out of there. I don't know. Yeah. What? So yeah. Go into your review.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're fine, man. You're fine. So the story was all right. It seemed decent. I was just kind of waiting for much more than what I got. I don't know. I was waiting for something to happen, and I don't feel like it did. And I think the major big part of it is about a quarter of the way through the book. There's some really bad art, and it's Dick Grayson's face, and I don't think I got over it.
To me, it was just like 2 frames that bothered me a lot. And, and like there was this one face that was like really badly drawn.
I know.
And then there was another face that looked like Double Dragon art from like the 1980s or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Yeah. So like yeah, that was what bugged me.
So what was Mal's powers before?
See, I didn't think Mal had any powers because he was the Guardian.
No, he did because he had them removed from Meta Solutions,
Right.
Yeah.
And so whatever they were, I think maybe. Do you know anything about Mal?
I
and
don't,
Bumblebee?
actually.
No.
I mean, I've seen Bumblebee around, but I don't know.
And that's the thing that they were talking in the book like they were surprised that they had the meta abilities, which I didn't quite understand that.
Mal, he was a meta first, and he was part of the Titans.
Yeah.
And then he had his powers already removed so that he could be like normal. And then her powers developed later. And then they went together. This is like he's already normal when they were together. She was just starting to get her powers.
Yeah. Okay.
But then he tried telling her, I'm not saying you need to have them remove them. If you want them, that's great. He's like, I just didn't want them.
Yeah.
But he's like, they'll either help you develop them or they'll help you get rid of them.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So
Which is never going to be a good thing when it's ran by the supervillains, but hey.
Well, they didn't know though at
Right.
the time. I mean, they had taken his superpowers and assumingly had given them to someone else, like a bad guy, and
Right.
like yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I just couldn't get over that. Maybe this is better than the purgatory that I rated it in.
But are they brainwashing her at the end?
I think that's going to be explained. I mean, they had her put on this suit.
Like she's part of their team.
Right.
Yeah, but she thought she was getting into a suit so they could help diagnose like how powerful she was and help her
that's
figure
right,
out how
that's
to
right.
manage her powers. But I think maybe it's going to be a suit that ends up controlling her or something like that.
The Bumblebee, I mean, I don't know how Rebirth has been handling her, but traditionally she created her own suit that helps her, that lets her shrink.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
So,
cool.
I
like
that
the
vibe
character.
from it.
I like the character Bumblebee is awesome, but man.
Other than the couple of wonky frames, I liked the rest of the art. I thought it was really.
I kind of like the art.
Yeah,
I
thought it was really dynamic panel layout. There were some scenes where,
Like those panels are awesome.
Yeah, they're just weird. There were some scenes where, like, there's this one scene where one of the girls is like going through photos on the ground, and she's in like this pose, like a supermodel pose, and her boyfriend's carrying coffee behind her and he's in a supermodel pose too. So this artist really likes to do these things where like they're in these like stupid poses. Like no one's going through pictures posing like that,
Right.
But like, I mean, overall, aside from like the silly comic bookiness of like the pin-up poses or whatever, I mean, that's just DC Comics, I mean, that's just how they draw them. But I don't know. I thought maybe he just messed up those couple faces, but otherwise I really like the art. I would have given this a high blessing. I don't know. But
What did you rate it, Brad?
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
I wrote, maybe I'll go back and read it again, tonight or tomorrow or something. But I read it twice. I don't know.
It's kind of just like an off story.
I couldn't get through it. It stopped me.
I like this one page though.
Can I see?
Yeah.
Oh,
because he's just like, punch me in the face.
and then she
Lilith
does.
and Aqualad.
Yeah, she's like, no, I don't want to punch you. And then she's just like, crack, right? Right when he wasn't even ready.
That's page 12 for the listeners.
That's right.
Yeah, that was cool.
good.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. There's something very like X-Men-y about this series to me. Like it's very colorful, and I don't know. I dig it. And
When the bald dude looks like Xavier.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Good
Yeah,
call.
all he needs is a wheelchair.
Simon's a classic Teen Titans villain with Mammoth and
Yeah.
all those,
Did anybody watch Legion?
No,
no,
not yet.
no.
Did you?
No, I have it recorded.
Yeah, you can actually watch it on FX Now as well, which is like a free app for your phone.
Oh,
Or
cool.
I'm sure it's on Xbox and PS too if you guys can download it. So, all right,
PS2?
cool. Or PS as well.
PS also. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Your PS4 as well. Is
You
what
bought
I mean.
a PlayStation 2, huh? That's what
I
you've been
didn't know-
gaming it up on?
Oh yeah, gaming it up.
A little
man.
bit of Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah.
Dude, that game
Noah,
was
did you ever play
amazing.
that game?
No, I did not play that one.
Oh,
Actually.
so good.
Yeah.
Do you know
I played
that
a lot
game?
of, no, I played a lot
man.
of games.
Oh, man. We're going to have to set up a game night. I got that, so it's a
the,
sweet game.
The guys from Glitch Therapy were actually talking about like maybe doing like an 8-bit night, right?
Or like a LAN party.
LAN party,
LAN
hell
party.
yeah. I'm down, I'm down.
Yeah, something like that. That would be fun.
I'll join.
Yeah, I've never done online multiplayer. I've played Injustice: Gods Among Us multiplayer online, but I really want to do like the Overwatch style,
Yeah.
like
Prepare to get hooked.
yeah.
it is
Dude,
pretty
once
addictive.
I got into multiplayer gaming, like that's all I did for a couple years before I went back to single player, man.
Yeah, man, I'm
multiplayer
trying.
all the way.
Yeah,
I brought him Overwatch to play, so
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what
I haven't touched it for over a month. So
But
it's
that's
just like-
one thing I hate that the gaming industry is doing now, though, is like it seems like almost every game you have to pay additional to do multiplayer.
Oh, for PlayStation Plus.
For PlayStation, for Xbox,
Right,
Like
both
they
you
sell
have to subscribe to
certain
the-
games sell season passes, is what they call them for like PC games and stuff. It's basically
Yeah.
a way to get more money out of us to buy that online
for extra
portion
content.
Yeah, we
instead
actually
of just giving it to us. with
they
the
had a
game.
long conversation about that. Not last week, but the week before on Glitch Therapy.
Oh man,
of,
no
like,
kidding! I'm gonna
pay
check
to
out that
play, yeah.
cast.
So yeah.
See
It's
what
a
your
good-
guys'
it's a good
thoughts were
podcast.
on it.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to move things along to Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Oh yeah. So this was, I think this was probably my book of the week.
really.
Oh, wow.
I
That's
liked it.
including JLA?
I liked it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, well JLA was really good though too.
Oh, just got some breaking news. This is not going to be breaking to the listeners, but I do want to let people know. The Batman got a new director,
Ooh,
and it is Matt Reeves.
nice.
Does anyone know who this is?
Not off the top of my head.
So Matt Reeves can be known for projects such as, I'm pulling up IMDb,
The
War
news-
of the Planet of the Apes, Let Me In, The Yards, Under Siege 2, Felicity. What else has he directed? Hold on.
you say Let Me
Dawn
In?
of the Planet of the Apes. Yep. Cloverfield.
Nice.
Conviction, Miracles, Gideon's Crossing, one episode of that, Homicidal, Life on the Street, Relativity, The Pallbearer, and Future Shock. The only one of those that I know is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is that's the second one, right? Oh yeah, and he's directing the new War for the Planet of the Apes as well. So,
Nice.
Yep, sorry, just got that email from comicbook.com. Felt I needed to share it with the listeners. So, yep, go ahead, Josh. Sorry about that.
All right. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 7, How to Solve a Problem Like Bizarro. By Scott Lobdell, Mirko Kolak, and Veronica Galdini.
Nice.
Red Hood and Bizarro are at the Black Mask's old headquarters trying to run the remaining gang members out of town. The gang members threaten Red Hood, or Red him, and Bizarro loses it, and Bizarro smashes all over their faces. Red Hood had to remind him how mean to be to the bad guys. Bizarro, I'm sorry, and lets the poor sap go.
I like it.
Later, Jason and Artemis were talking. Jason is concerned about Bizarro because of his strength and basically everything, and questions making him part of their team. They find some old footage on the computer that shows the files from the lab that created Bizarro, and the scientists talk about how these creatures could be an apocalyptic class event that could end all life on Earth. Bizarro was one of many clones they tried to create, and the scientists stated if one grows to maturity physically but not mentally, would be one tantrum away from destruction. So Jason heads to the Batcave, where Batman conveniently just left. Jason steals a shard of kryptonite in case he needs it for Bizarro. He asks Alfred if Bruce ever regretted taking him in. Alfred told him not once. Bruce always had faith in him to do the right thing, even in his darkest days. So Jason and Bizarro are now heading out to a nice spot on a lake. They talk about life and how the open air used to scare the hell out of Jason. Bizarro talks about how he has never hated the world. Even when he was in a glass box looking out, he had memories of another place. Bizarro starts to recap his memories, which are basically all of Superman's memories, and about fleeing Krypton, about his loving parents putting him in the ship, about the Kents loving him, and the first time he stepped into the sky. As Bizarro is talking, Jason loads the kryptonite into his gun and takes aim at the back of Bizarro's head. Bizarro states that he's not stupid, though. He knows these memories aren't his. They were put there. His memories didn't start until Red him and Red her, which is Jason and Artemis.
Man, this is breaking my heart. Just stop the recap. Just stop it. I'm sorry, man. We're almost through.
We're almost through.
I'm washing my hands.
Just wait. Bizarro knows he isn't perfect, but Red him's showing him how. And with a smile on his face, he says he's going to be the best Bizarro he can be. Jason, overcome with love, his heart has grown 3 times too big. He lowers his gun, and the two friends hang out a bit longer at the lake. Next issue, who is Artemis?
Man, that's a beautiful last page, too.
Yeah, dude.
It was a beautiful cover and a beautiful last page.
Oh, yeah, man, the cover. Yeah, so who wants to...
Beautiful story, man.
Yeah,
come on. Beautiful story.
Even though it was slightly borrowed from a classical work of literature. But that's okay. Adapted. We'll say adapted.
What was it from?
What's the deal with that? Talk about that a little.
It's super in homage to Of Mice and Men.
Oh, okay, okay.
Which is a story about a man named George and his giant but not all there companion named Lenny. And they work at a farm. And Lenny used to have a bunny that he would pet. And he met a lady that had nice hair, and he petted her, tried to pet her hair, and ended up like killing her, snapping her neck by accident. Oh. And so in order to save his friend from going to prison and, having a terrible life, he takes him out to a field where it's pretty and shoots him in the back of the head.
Oh, wow.
And so this whole thing, the cover shows Jason, with
pretty
a gun,
much,
kryptonite up to his head, and then, he takes him out to the pretty field where, he knows it's peaceful, and it was great. It was a total adaptation of Mice and Men to Red Hood and
crazy
and Bizarro. It was
ever since I watched. Did you guys watch Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah.
No. Do you remember the very end where that girl gets shot in the back of the head?
I definitely watched it.
It was Jesse's girlfriend who had the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Ever since that, I've had an irrational fear of dying that way. And when I'm sitting in a movie theater, I don't know, man. I always just have this fear that someone's gonna cap me right in the back of the head. I don't know. It's super
Sit in the
weird.
back row.
Yeah, there you go.
I do. On opening nights, my wife and we will sit in the very back, right next to the back door, because I'm scared of people shooting up theaters and stuff. Really weird. Yeah, sorry about that.
People are crazy.
Yep.
All right. So this was another awesome issue, I thought. I'm digging this team more and more with each issue. They captured Jason's struggle really well with what to do about Bizarro, because I think his concerns are completely valid. I mean, the dude could just accidentally kill all kinds of people. Yep. And Bizarro, because Red Him's been his only friend, if anybody even just says anything mean to Red Hood, Bizarro just snaps, you know what I mean? So it's could be terrifying, because someone could just say anything that would set him off, and he could potentially really hurt somebody. So I think it's pretty valid. And but Bizarro's character has grown on me big time. Like everything I've seen him in, he's got the same brains, but he's just like evil about everything. Like the Justice League animated cartoons that I've seen him in, just the stuff I've seen him in previously. Like he's always like
Classic
he's dumb,
villain.
but he's like mean and like evil. You know what I mean? Like here they're like giving him an awesome redemption story, kind of like he's dumb, but he's like young in the mind, so to speak. Like he's aware that all these memories aren't his, and he's aware of like essentially when his memories basically are starting and when his life's starting. So I just thought that was super interesting because, you know, super young in the mind, he's learning. With Jason's help, he would probably be like a way better Bizarro than he's been in the past. But as like a side note with that though, like in the original or the older tellings of like Bizarro, did he have something programmed in him to make him hate Superman, kind of like Doomsday did?
He was always just from Bizarro world, which was like the opposite of normal.
It was just backwards.
World. It was just backwards, and so no meant yes, and Superman was good, so Bizarro was evil. You know, Superman has heat vision and cold breath, and so Bizarro had cold vision and fire breath. You know what I mean? It was all
I didn't
like,
even notice
it was all the
that.
Opposite.
I didn't even realize that at first.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
But his eyes are glowing with like the frost fire in this issue. Like
cool.
I didn't even catch that until you said that. That's
so
that's
a lot
awesome.
of his things are the opposite of Superman. But then now he's kind of been reinvented as a clone, which
as a clone, right?
Right, makes
And Bizarro World doesn't even exist.
I don't.
that
I mean,
we
maybe a
know of, does it?
multiverse somewhere.
Sure. Well, I guess it would be kind of like what Earth 2, where everything's evil.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But there's Bizarro, like
Or
it's a
Earth 3,
square
Earth 3.
planet.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
cube.
Yep,
That's right.
it
It's
is.
a
I
cube.
remember that from All-Star
That's
Superman.
right. Yep. Anyways, interesting.
Cool.
But yeah, so I thought the art was also awesome too. So it was a good read. Highly recommend it. I gave it a high holy because I
Nice.
enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Brad, did you read this one?
I did. I liked it too.
Pulled at the heartstrings.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I would have rated it. Yeah, I'd say holy too.
Okay. Noah?
Yeah, I definitely would have given it a holy. This was the first time I think we had a different artist on it. I think Ivan Reese is who I want to say normally would draw it, and
Okay.
we have somebody different this time. And I got to admit the scenes like were with Artemis and stuff. I didn't think he drew it nearly as pretty or as well like his previous ones. It just
We didn't really get a lot of her in this issue though either.
But it was just kind of like dark in those scenes where he's talking to her, and then the rest of them brighten up. So hopefully. In the next issue, where it's all Artemis, we'll get some good art with that. But
Because she was kind of in the computer room by herself in the dark, being all creepy, looking for her bow. It just,
Yeah.
It was
and her hair wasn't very long.
Right.
I noticed
it was kind
that.
of a weird
and I was
vibe.
like,
I like this team though.
Yeah, I do too. I like this team.
Man, very
I'm
much.
excited
Yeah,
to
very nice art team.
see more about him.
Cool. All right. So, with that being said, we are going to move things along here to Mr. Noah O'Toole. What do you got for us, Noah?
We got Batgirl and the Birds of Prey by Shauna Benson, Julie Benson, and Claire Rowe. The title is Soldiers of Fortune. The Birds of Prey are at the Gotham Science Center fighting a throwaway villain called Zodiac Master, who can apparently summon Zodiac sign constructs. The fight spills out onto the streets, and as the birds defeat Zodiac Master, he escapes into a portal and shouts, "I predict you will see me again." Yeah, let's hope not. Anyway.
You didn't like him?
No, I thought he was stupid.
I was like, I thought it was cool.
He's the tattoo lantern.
Right, exactly.
him and Condiment King are going to take the
Exactly, he
town.
belongs with Condiment King. Maybe they should form, a zealous villain club or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You want some fries with that?
Yeah. So anyway, the fight with Zodiac Master wasn't without its collateral damage, as the building the Huntress has been staying at has become uninhabitable.
To say the least.
Yeah. So speaking of places where I got water, rain.
I
flooded
thought you
out.
were talking about. Oh no,
Canary. Where she went stay,
Never mind. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. She ends up staying with Canary and having to sleep on the floor. But speaking of other places where superheroes live, there was another attempted break-in at the clock tower, and for some reason, the realtors who sold it to Barbara seem to be behind it.
Talk about lame villains.
Yeah, right. The realtors.
The creepy realtors.
The creepy realtors. It's like a Scooby-Doo plot. Through some snazzy detective work and undercover sleuthing, the birds discover the realtors are after some buried loot hidden by some bank robbers back in the 60s.
A+ use of the word sleuthing.
Sleuthing, yeah, I like it. Babs finds it, donates it, and throws some business to the realtors, and everything ends happily ever after.
Nice.
This was kind of a standalone issue. I mean, it didn't continue anything from any previous plots, and it didn't seem to start anything either. It was just a standalone, kind of showing some bonding, I think, between the birds is what it was meant to establish. You know, Black Canary sleeping on the floor of, or Hunter sleeping on the floor of Black Canary's place and stuff. I kind of liked it. To me, it had a classic Charlie's Angels vibe to it. You know, just like classic detective work and dressing up in, wigs and undercover. Yeah. It was scream Charlie's Angels to me. So, I got a kick out of that because I love Charlie's Angels, of course. And
I dug this issue. My wife did not.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it a blessing.
My wife was like, I'm tired of these little wimpy villains for these girls. I want to see some heels crushing skulls.
Right, I'm kind of with that.
Yeah.
This, I think was just a cheeky. They had a cheeky Batman weirdo villain like the Zodiac Master, and then they did their undercover work, and I think it was kind of a place filler, and it kind of felt like a place filler. So I guess that's why I gave it a blessing. But that doesn't mean it was bad in any way.
No, it's good. That's what blessing means.
Right. It's good. Yep. The art, I do point out, Claire Rowe is, the usual artist on. Sometimes there's other people, and I definitely applaud the full female creative team on the book. But there are some places where, like, the girls look a little garish is the only word I can describe.
What do you mean by garish? Because there was a point where Black Canary looked a little bit like...
Yeah, especially like the last panel.
Bony to me, or I don't know, her face looked really...
Yeah, I mean, like, just not soft and pretty.
Okay, Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, she looked a little like her face was almost like too bony and weird looking.
Angular and almost abstractish kind of. But
yeah.
There's a couple panels. It looks like Babs has a beard.
I just thought they all look like that. They had bony
like
faces
the way
and
that
stuff.
they shaded, or what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at Canary's face. Just
Yeah. I'm not
like
a
Babs'
huge...
nose and the lips. It was not.
I'm not a huge fan of the art on this, but I'm not a huge hater on it either.
Right?
there's definitely still some
there's
good
just
panels.
moments where it's a little.
There was one Wonder Woman book that between Nicholas Scott and Liam Sharp. There was one right there in the middle that, man, I hated it so
Steve
much.
Trevor one.
Oh, dude, like that Angel Down, I think.
Yeah.
I could not stand the artwork on that, man.
She didn't even draw or he or she didn't even draw the faces in all the way if they were a background character.
No,
that's what kills me.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
got way off course there.
Cool.
Yeah, I give it a blessing though. I think it was a good read.
It was a good book.
It was a quirky little it almost felt like a 25-cent Batgirl issue, or something.
Right.
I mean, it just felt like Gumball. Or
sleuthing.
Gumshoe.
Yeah, Gumshoe. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, just a sec here. All right, so we are going to go back and review Justice League versus Power Rangers, or Justice League Power Rangers, I guess it is. And then we'll jump on to our flagship title of the week, which B-Rad has. But before we do that, I want to take it to my flagship title of the week, Justice League, and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Go Power Rangers!
Power Rangers, yes, sir. Yeah, so if you want some crappy Asian television narration, here's your time for it. So, the Power Rangers have mighty morphed themselves into the DC Universe and are fighting with the Justice League. Basically, a huge misunderstanding, but we get to have some fun, back and forth, like Pink Ranger and Superman fighting, and Green Lantern, which is Jon Stewart Green Lantern, which I found odd. Has there ever been a time where Jon Stewart is the lone Green Lantern in the Justice League?
Yeah, the whole
a lot of his
all the animated JLU.
Yeah.
He was the
okay, cool.
one and,
I just wasn't sure how accurate that was with the other comic continuity. But him sort of trying to control the Power Rangers with this, construct he's putting around them, and the Power Rangers are like, it's some sort of containment field he's putting around us, and Jason's like, then let's give him something that can't be contained. And it's Mighty Morphin time. They all morph into their dinosaur robots. It's Mastodon Dinosaur power and Sabretooth Dinosaur power and all of those other Dragon Zord powers.
Pterodactyl.
Yeah. So they all morph, and there's a big battle that kind of ensues or whatever. And this whole time, the Pink Ranger has been off. She had, if you'll remember, at the end of the last issue, she had scooped Batman up with her mechanical pterodactyl and taken him away. And I guess Wonder Woman and all this had showed up. And so while the Justice League is fighting the Power Rangers, Pink Ranger shows up in her pterodactyl and pops out, and Wonder Woman has the lasso of truth around her, and Wonder Woman's like, these are the good guys, and Pink Ranger's like, I just had a pretty intense conversation. And so I guess they figure out, like, they're the good guys, and so then they start this back and forth, like, snarky arguing, and, like, the Black Ranger's, like, talking to Batman. He's like, dude, you were dressed as a bat. You don't even smile. Who doesn't smile? Like,
you are a scary superhero.
Yeah. And Batman, my favorite line in the book is Batman says, the last person who attacked me with a mechanical dinosaur, or the last mechanical dinosaur that attacked me, is currently mounted in my cave as a trophy.
Right.
And that was like,
Yeah.
Just perfect. I love it. So then we find out a little bit about Lord Zed. And basically, Lord Zed is somewhere else in this world. They don't know where he is. But, you know, we jump over to him, and he finds his way to Brainiac. And him and Brainiac team up to ensue chaos. And, you know, they start ensuing chaos. The Justice League Power Rangers start going in on, like, saving the day. And it's to be continued in Heroes versus Monsters. So I didn't really write a recap of that. But, yeah, I don't really think it needed a recap. It's a pretty simple book. Pretty basic comic stuff. Looks like an animated movie to me. I mean, it just looks like an animated movie. And I like that about it. Yeah. I like how kind of...
That was my favorite panel.
What, can you read it for the listeners?
So it's just like Cyborg just pauses and he's like, there's something, and Batman's like, what is it? And Cyborg's like, the internet just exploded.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Like, when I read that, like, I just had to stop because it just made me laugh. Like, wow. Good job, Cyborg.
I love how dumbed down everyone is,
the
too.
internet just exploded.
I mean, everyone's super clean and just like the dumb, like Brainiac is this really dumbed down version of
very
himself.
Cartoony.
Right.
It's
Much
very
like a cartoon.
Very fun.
Yeah,
very fun.
Just like if you see Brainiac in a cartoon, he doesn't have all these crazy detailed things. You know, it's just like basic line work and stuff, and that's how he looks here. This actually is the very first. I'm thinking about how I want to phrase this, because if I don't phrase it right, you guys are going to eat me alive. This is the first comic book that I've read where Brainiac is the main villain. The first comic book I read where Brainiac's involved is the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corp, but he's just kind of like a pawn in that game. This is the first one I've read where he's got like the green skin, and I thought he was a robot. No. But he has robots that work for him.
Well, doesn't he eventually kind of go into being robot, and then that's how he kind of gets everywhere? I thought he like evolved to that or something, kind of.
I don't know.
Where's Travis?
Because in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, he's working for Lar Fleas, and he's a robot Brainiac. He's like a droid type looking thing. But anyway, I give this one a high holy. I really enjoy it. I think it's a very great read. If you like Power Rangers and you like the Justice League, what's
fun.
not to love?
It's fun.
If you like chocolate and you like peanut butter, eat a Reese's peanut butter cup. If you like Power Rangers and you like Justice League, read Power Rangers Justice League. So what do you guys
So
think?
bed don't talk good neither.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tried to pull that off. So what would you guys rate this one?
I'm agreeing with you. I mean, it was a holy. I don't know if it was a high holy, but it was a holy. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
You missed a high there. Sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Brad?
He's going to hate. Here comes the hate train.
Hate train's coming.
Here comes the hate train.
Blessing.
Blessing. Oh, that's very hatey.
Yeah,
that's good. He liked it.
It was
That was a
good.
mild dose of haterade that he just gave us. So yeah. Okay. Noah, did you read it?
Didn't read it.
Didn't read it?
Yeah,
No, don't care for it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said maybe the last time we talked about it, the Power Rangers were a little after me, so I never watched the show or anything, and I don't care. I don't care about the Power Rangers. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm with you, Noah. I mean, like, I'm on the train now with the movie and everything coming out, but like, I'm a little bit older than.
Hey, the first Power Rangers movie
generation.
was good.
I did love that song. Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah.
First, I had that CD back in the day.
But
with the
Revenge of the Ooze or
that was Turtles. Ninja Turtles.
That's
Revenge of the
Secret.
Ooze.
No. Sorry, it's something.
Ivan Ooze.
Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
He was in the first Power Rangers movie, and dude, I thought the special effects compared to the show, they jumped like ahead like so far when they came out with
that's
that movie.
not saying much. Though.
But I mean, yeah, they finally had a movie budget. But
I feel like
I just remember that movie when it came out. I was like, this movie's awesome.
It was an American action film,
it was so
as
good.
opposed to like a Japanese snuff film.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like the TV show, like two Japanese
bad
college
cut.
students made it in their
Yeah,
garage or
yeah.
something. They like
with
paid-
cardboard cutouts.
They
for
like paid
buildings.
some homeless people to be like, you know, and like that kind of sucks. Like the actors or whatever, they don't get royalties. Saban keeps the royalties
Right.
to all these things, so they're all doing cons right now, like trying to recoup some of the money or whatever. But you know, like they didn't know this thing was going to blow up. It was this B-rate crappy show. For all they knew, it was going to be like nothing.
Well, that's
So-
probably why they change the cast members all the time too.
Yeah, that's true as well. So, all right,
Well,
well,
but they have to be high schoolers, so they got to change every few years.
And but no name people that way they can.
Right.
all right. So we are going to move things on here to Brad. What do you got for us, Brad?
I have Justice League of America #1, written by Steve Orlando, art by Ivan Reis. All right, so Batman puts together a team of mortals to fill the title of Justice League of America. The team consists of Killer Frost, Black Canary, Lobo, Ryan Choi, the New Atom, the Ray, and Vixen. And Batman brings them all to their new base of operations, the Sanctuary.
Nice.
By the way, totally called it on the Ryan Choi thing.
Yep. Man, so pretty much this whole issue is Batman recruiting the JLI. And so they're going there, and it starts off with Killer Frost, and then they go get Black Canary, and so on and so on and so on. And the way that they did it was awesome. He brings them all to this place that he has, and called the Sanctuary, and that's going to be their new base. There wasn't a ton. There was no villain. There was nothing out there, for them to fight, except for them fighting Bruce or Batman to join the JLA. But man, this book was awesome.
Yeah.
Everything was they did a great job introducing the JLA. If you're not a big fan of comics, you still need to get this book.
Yeah, if you like the JLA, be sure and stick around for our post show. So we have a post show where you can pay $1 a month, and we do a weekly show called Sunday School where we talk about one of the main characters from the DC books that week. This week we picked JLA. It was kind of the obvious choice where we're going to talk a little bit about them, our knowledge about them, and then we'll get massively off topic and talk about some completely unrelated thing. So if you want to keep
not
listening,
us. We don't do that. We don't do that. We stay focused.
So if you want access to that post show, you can go on to patreon.com/nerdchurchradio, donate at least $1 per month, and you get access to that show. What are you saying, Brad?
Oh, I rated this as holy.
Nice. I give it a high holy, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Really
High
great.
holy.
I would give it a high holy. I thought we would talk about more than that. There was a lot that went on in it.
Yeah, if you want to go into anything, by
go
all
for it.
means.
Yeah. Well, first the way he assembled all the characters was awesome. Did anybody notice the way they drew Black Canary's legs? Like they're the size of tree trunks, man.
Yeah,
Like she could
shit. I'm looking at it now,
crush somebody's neck in between those thighs. That was like awesome.
You're right.
And the
Holy
fishnets,
cow.
right?
Yeah.
I was like badass.
I love the fishnets. That's like a pivotal part of her character.
for
to
sure.
me. Yeah, she needs
and
the fishnets.
Vixen fighting Roxy Rocket. I mean, did anybody watch the Batman animated series that introduced Roxy Rocket? And that was a classic, like animated character that was a fan favorite. So it was cool to see Vixen fight her. But thoughts on the last page? That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up too. I liked how they gave you like 4 panels on the last page of like what we're going to get and like coming issues.
So we see Lobo, which one thing I got to point out, I love how they made Logo like kind of like the Wolverine in this story. Mm-hmm. He's the Logan in this story. He's like the cigars, or cigarette smoking. Like, I don't take no shit from no one, bubs. Like,
But I gotta, the thing I don't get, and Lobo's a fun character, and I don't not like him in this. But I thought the whole point of Batman assembling a Justice League of America was to have people who were more mortals versus gods like Superman and Wonder Woman. And here, sure, Vixen, Canary,
everyone can die.
Adam, but then we got Lobo, who's like a god, but can't die, and so I don't know kind of where he fits in that grand.
Yeah, I don't know either. I thought So yeah, at first someone said it was humans, and then I was like, that can't be right. So it's not humans; it's mortals.
Be more mortal.
Well, and do we?
But then you have the Ray too.
I was going to say, do we know
mortal.
the Ray? Isn't he just light now?
Yeah, but he is.
Well,
he
seems
started
to-
as a mortal.
started as a mortal, at least, so
Right.
he has ties to the mortal world. Where Superman's not from here, Wonder Woman's
true.
not from here.
True.
You know what have you? But
But yeah, I don't know where he fits in this.
the final page shows the Ray stabbing Lobo. So either something's going to come to blows with that, or maybe Lobo like gets something like what happened to him with Maxwell Lord, and he needs the Atom to or the Ray to free him or something. You know, by stabbing him with light. I don't. And Lady Liberty's shield.
Who's
is that Liberty Bell
or Liberty Bell?
Liberty Bell, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Killer Frost fighting?
Yeah.
Do we know?
It looks
see a
like
chain.
It looks like. Oh wow.
I don't know.
I was gonna say it looks like Professor Palmer's outfit for a second, but then it doesn't because he doesn't have a robe.
No,
on
I've
his
definitely got
arms
some
like
thoughts
that.
because some people on the internet were saying, "Oh, it looks like Killer Frost is going to end up on Themyscira for some reason," and I'm like, "That's not Themyscira."
No, that's too dark.
And there's the impression that that's a woman because it says sister, but I don't think it is. I think that it's Destiny of the Endless, who is a character in Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Oh yeah.
And he reads from a book called The Cosmic Log, which is chained to his wrist, and it contains all past, present, and future events. He's blind but sees everything, and has a cloak, a red cloak. And so I think they've introduced the Watchmen characters, and I think we're going to get some. I think they're going to introduce the
some
Sandman
Vertigo
character,
in there.
Vertigo,
Yeah.
and so
I will tell you,
Crazy.
just devil's advocate here, or Amazon's advocate here. That could be the Mascara. That there's nothing in there that says it's not. Now I'm not. Yours sounds more thought out and better, but there's some pillars there.
it would have to be
It's
a
very
destroyed
vague.
Themyscira, and I don't. I mean, that now we don't think it's destroyed; it's just hidden.
Well, I mean, but if there's a battle in
the future.
Themyscira, who's to say that a building didn't just get
True.
blown up? And I mean,
Yeah, good.
devil's advocate,
Sure,
that
yep.
could be. But also, I don't know. Your theory sounds more interesting. If I had to choose between the two, I'd say yours, just because I love seeing Sandman and Vertigo stuff being brought in.
Yeah.
I always love that. So yeah,
So who do you think's the leader of this group?
Batman all the way.
No, I mean of the group. I mean, I know Batman's there, but he's...
I don't think there's another leader. I think they're all misfits and outcasts.
Well, they implied
that Batman's not really going to be... He put the team together, but he's not...
This is just one of his mini armies that he's putting together.
Right.
I got the impression that Vixen and Canary were kind of his.
That's
kind of
that's where my thoughts too.
Because
Yeah,
he took
'cause
Canary
there
to be
was
the
that
conscious
close one-on-one moment with him
Yeah.
and Vixen.
and then Vixen, right? He specifically wanted her for her leadership skills and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Vixen and Canary. And
Do
then
you think that's Ray Palmer at the end?
I think
I think so.
I
hope
think
so.
it's the dude from Assassin's Creed, is what I.
yeah, it's
Ezio.
Yeah, Ezio.
It looks just like him. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we are just about at 30 minutes, in an hour and 30 minutes, which is our cutoff time now. But I will tell you, if you want to keep listening to us talk about the yeah, wow, offending people left and right tonight. All right, if you would like to keep listening
mocking
to
you.
us discuss JLA, head on over to patreon.com/nerdchurchradio and donate $1. You get access to a weekly show. What a deal! Oh
And
my god,
we
my
forgot
head's
one of
gonna
my books,
explode.
so I'll do All-Star Batman #7
Holy crap!
and the Patreon site, so you can listen to that for.
Oh, man, I'm
Patreon.
sorry.
No, we're all good. We'll give them a reason to listen.
Yeah, we'll do All-Star Batman.
It's short and it's interesting. I'll be talking about Poison Ivy, so listen. It's
Nice,
$1 to
nice.
hear me talk about Poison Ivy. Trust
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and it's worth it. He knows his stuff.
I know a lot
too,
about
so.
Poison Ivy, yeah.
All right, so real quick, sorry about that, man.
No
I
worries.
didn't
We
write
got
it down. All right, so if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at IndieComicBen, or you can find us, and that's INDIE. If you want to find Nerd Church Radio anywhere, you can find us at Nerd Church Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any other whatever social media site we're on there. Noah, where can we find you?
I'll have links to all social media and good posts, noahotoole.com/WordPress.
Beautiful, Josh.
You can find me on Twitter at Facefurr. That's FACEFURRR.
And Brad.
Twitter, Bradley, BREDLEY _Butin, BUTIN, and Book of the Week, guys.
JLA is my
JLA
vote.
for me. Yep.
I don't know. JLA, Red Hood was
Red
good
Hood was
too.
great, yeah.
I mean,
It was.
those are my two.
I gotta give
that's
JLA.
good.
That was exciting.
Yeah, me too, JLA.
So we're going to vote NCR's Book of the Week is JLA.
JLA.
And yeah, that's going to be a little Twitter graphic that we post every week. Josh, that's news to you. But yeah, that's one more thing you get to deal with every week is, yeah, we'll talk. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So with that, I'm going to say peace be with you.
And also with you.
Peace out, Planet Earth.
Bye, everyone.
Later.